Hi, Lacrissa. This is going to just touch on a couple things that I really like how everything turned out, and it looks like you've got the idea of how to get text in, how to get pictures in, how to get them all the same size, good proximity, good good repetition of things. Just one, I guess my biggest thing right here is I like the fact that you experimented with the background. I think though the background is a little bit distracting because it's such a coarse grain, and so then up in here, it just sometimes in the text doesn't it's not a very good contrast. And I think when I saw it small, I liked it and I didn't see that much grain. But here when I get it full size, it's kind of strong. So I think there's one probably I haven't tried this, but I think there's probably one easy way of kind of sinking this into the background. I like how you've tried different kinds of effects, but if I select this layer here and then go to blur and Gaussian blur or Gaussian blur, some people say. It's not a great name, but what it does versus a lot of these other ones is it gives you control of how much blur you have. So maybe not. Let's see. How do we have this set? Okay, so you just have a white background with some of this going on, I think. So we might need to rasterize this layer so that they all, now there, maybe that's the way you had it. I'm not sure why it was so grainy there. But in any event, that's basically what I was going to say to do is to get rid of that grain. So I'm not sure, maybe I was looking at the proper thing. So what I was going to show you, which is kind of a moot point now, but just so you know in the future, is a blur, Gaussian blur. And then you have the ability to kind of just blur this whole thing out, which I would have done if it was as grainy as it was, but it's not now. So that's really a moot point. So I really like everything. I might, and maybe you've experimented, and this is more of an artistic choice versus anything else, is I could take this picture and maybe put a stroke on it. And if I click on the word stroke, I get to the stroke menu, and I could increase the stroke just a little bit, but maybe instead of black, I could pick maybe this dark blue. So I'm just repeating that, just maybe finish it off a little bit more. But that's more of a design, that's more artistic choice versus a design problem. So I really like the whole idea, and especially now that the green is gone. I'm not sure what happened there. But just FYI, just in future, if you do something like that, like a stroke, and you want to repeat it on the rest of them, all those effects are right here. And so you could go in, click on the stroke, and say, okay, it's 13 points or pixels, and then I could transfer that and try to pick that same color as well. I could write down the hexadecimal color, but that's really kind of a pain. So what you can do is right-click here, and you can go to copy the layer style. So all these things that are in the effects gets copied, and then I can come to the other picture. Let's see, this one. I can right-click and go to paste layer style, and it does the same thing. I could do that for all of them, and that's a way to quickly keep that repetition going. But other than that, I'm not sure that I would even do that, but if you wanted to, that's so I really like how you've done it, and I'm looking forward to the next project.